I will admit, especially before Haggerty was landed, right? Like I had a legitimate amount of anxiety about like, all right, we know that Elias Rapik is supposedly committed, but until we saw something official, I was always like, we've been burned a couple of times here by things that were supposed to be done in the transfer portal over the last few years that were not. Of course, who can forget that battle with Texas Tech over, boy, who was that? Mohamed Waggy and
Tucson.
Joseph Tucson. That's right. Of course, Caleb Battle. Hell, Bob Miller was like sort of in that kind of category too. So I was always a little bit leery of this, but we finally got the confirmation. We got a commitment post from Elias Rapik himself. His agent had also reported it yesterday to multiple people. So he is coming. Guy that can play the four, maybe the wing a little bit from Europe. Very talented international prospect. I think the coaching staff is very, very high on this kid. I am very, very high on this kid from what we have seen of the film of him. DY, your reaction to this being locked down, what it means to the roster?
Yeah, I think it's been locked out even longer than the Andre Kostic thing. I think the delay in an announcement of any kind wasn't on the Kansas State end of things. Really, it was more on the Elias Rapik. Now, I'll be honest. I was watching clips of him, and the announcers there call him Rapika, like rhymed with Topeka. So I thought that was interesting. That pronunciation.
What's interesting about this is a reference that I'm sure a lot of our audience will get. I think it's going to land on deaf ears with you guys. Okay,
probably. Yeah.
Have you seen the movie Euro Trip?
No.
A classic. Cole, I'm just gonna.
I've seen it.
Look at that. All right,
Scotty doesn't know, John.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I watched it several times as a kid.
Okay, well, this is a great development. DY, I'll never forget the time I had DY on radio, and I came in from a break and was like, something about Britney Spears. I think a Britney Spears song was playing as the bed, and I was like, hey, DY, what about, Britney Spears? Dead silence. Nothing.
Yeah.
And nothing for me on a pop culture reference. All right, anyway, Euro Trip, the whole premise of like why they go on this trip is this kid is talking to his like foreign exchange. Well, he has like a pen pal over email, basically, and it's a German guy, he thinks, named Mike. And he gets his friends get him all drunk and riled up and think that the guy's like hitting on him or something. And so he sends this message like, never talk to me again. Then the next day, his kid brother comes in and is like, dude, why'd you tell that hot chick that you're never going to talk to her again? And he's like, what are you talking about? There's a guy named Mike. And he's like, no, Mika, a common German girl's name. So that's, maybe it is Rapika, just like Mika.
Yeah. That's what the announcers over there were saying, but who knows? We'll find out soon enough. I believe it's one of the other. But
please do watch Euro Trip. A great early 2000s coming of age.
I don't watch a ton of movies in general. I think that's part of my issue. More of a TV show guy.
Will you ask Mary if she's seen Euro Trip?
Yeah, I'll ask. I doubt she has, but I'll ask. I think he wanted to fulfill all of his obligations. I'm talking about Elias Rapika to Alba Berlin before moving forward with anything. So I think that was the final hang up. Now he still has to get his, from what I understand, his visa issued as well. And I know there's everyone has some consternation about that because of things that are happening. But I've heard that they don't expect any hurdles or concerns on that front either. That they are operating and under the impression that everything will be fine. So that's good as well. And from a talent standpoint, hey, I like him. I've seen some comps out there like European Keontae Johnson and stuff like that. Well, maybe that, and maybe they're talking more stylistically, which I don't know if I agree with either. Like everyone's bound to their own opinion. I just think this guy seems. You watch his clips. One, I think he's more athletic and springy than we probably initially gave him credit for. There are some clips out there where he kind of seems like an underneath the rim player, but there's also some clips that I believe are more recent where he actually looks to be in better shape and a little bit more springier and bouncier than you see in, the initial footage. So that I think is a good sign. And he just comes across as pass first to me, and that's not a bad thing. He's almost, I think, stylistically maybe more similar to Coleman Hawkins than he is Keontae Johnson, because I think he's more something that we give him credit for, but I think he likes to one thing, a high basketball IQ, really, really smart. A very elite passer with great feel for the game, but he does a little bit of everything. He's not someone that's I don't think, going to average like 15, 20 points a game, every night. I think he's kind of I don't know if Swiss Army knife is the right term, but a guy that does a little bit of everything. But I think his strong trait to me is his feel for the game and his ability to really pass the ball and his court vision, his basketball IQ. And if that suddenness and athleticism and springy bouncy is improved like I think it is, that'll help him on the defensive end, because that's probably a little bit of a concern. But he'll at least give you some, post defense that you might not be great at yet either.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's much more diet Coleman Hawkins than he is Keontae Johnson, just because Keontae's athleticism was through the roof. And also, Keontae shot 40% from three at Kansas State his last year, was tremendous shooting the ball, and we saw him going up for the lobs and everything. I don't think Rapika, I'm going to get used to calling him Rapika now. I don't think that's really his game, but I do view him more as a point forward type glue guy. So that can play the four, but can step out on the wing as well and isolate a little bit. So I think passing the ball is going to be more of his strength. I don't think he's going to look to light up the scoreboard, similar to Coleman Hawkins. But we know the staff thinks very highly of him, and they're really excited to get him in the fold. And so like the addition, the one missing piece at this point is probably a big. It can be either a 4 or a 5. Bryce Desert is one of the guys that they've been talking to over in Europe, a big 7-foot center. It sounds like it's probably down to KU and K-State for that one. Auburn was engaged as well, though the latest rumblings were KU is probably going to get Desert. So we'll see where K-State might be Desert, by the way. I don't know how they pronounce his name. But we'll see where K-State goes from there. But with Rapika in the fold, you pretty much got your roster nailed down outside of one spot.